All right. Right. So yeah, what exactly is velocity? So if you speak technically, it is just a managed package in Salesforce. So we all know in Velocity in Salesforce we can download manage packages into the org, and it which brings in a lot of changes to the org, right? So Velocity is one such package. It started way back in around 2015 or before that. So they what they wanted to do was they wanted to try to concentrate on domains, right? So basically, uh, all the domains, I mean, in a specific domain, the functionality is never going to change. Maybe the features, maybe the UI, maybe the different kinds of additional features the clients want would may change, but the business flow in the backend is not going to change. So that's what Velocity tries to do here. So it streamlines the entire process. So it brings in a set of changes into the Salesforce already existing Salesforce org, and with which you can avoid a lot of coding because Velocity has already done that for you, right? Right. Let's get into more details on that. So yeah, today we'll try to understand what exactly is Velocity, how it works, and whenever you speak about Velocity, we keep hearing one common term called industry clouds, and we'll try to see what exactly is that and what are the advantages of having Velocity. And Velocity provides a lot of components. So let's try to get a basic idea of that. So then we'll see what exactly are these components, how to use all of them in the actual training classes. All right. So we in general in any cloud platforms we'll see three different types of services even in Salesforce. The first type of service is infrastructure as a service, and it basically means that it just compromises of the actual infrastructure like storage, servers, and network. So it's just a common, they all will be held in a common place, and all the applications can just, all the clients can just use the infrastructure provided by Salesforce, right? And the next layer is platform as a service. So which is basically uh, Salesforce provides you a platform, and on top of that, you can build an application, right? And finally, there is SaaS. SaaS is which we all pretty much work on that, right? Any Salesforce developer is actually working on a SaaS capability, which means you have a client and you have a Salesforce org. You build a software in a Salesforce org. So any customer, any of the client can just log in. Uh, all they need is a web browser and and internet connection, so they can just use it from anywhere. No need to install a software or no need to maintain, no need to every time download the upgrades like in your Android mobiles or iOS mobiles. You'll have to download upgrades and all. So that all is not needed in case you are SaaS using the SaaS capability of Salesforce. But Velocity here uses the PaaS layer, which is using Salesforce, they provide another platform on top of which clients can build a software application, right? There are more examples, like for example, we have Tableau, we have Viva CRM, we have Velocity. There are quite a few applications that use Salesforce as a platform and builds a Salesforce, whatever things that are provided by Salesforce, and builds a platform on top of that. You can work on building a software for your client. All right. So on a high level, that's what Velocity is. It uses the PaaS layer of Salesforce. All right. So yeah, one thing we keep hearing whenever we come across Velocity, whenever we hear about Velocity, is industry-specific clouds. What exactly is this, and what is the point of having this? Right? Why Velocity is concentrating so much on this? Right. Right. Let's get more details about this. Right. So let's just in general, let's take some practical examples. For example, right now, we all know this pandemic situation where COVID-19, and you know that there are a lot of pharma companies that are trying to uh, create vaccines and all of that, right? So how does usually how the pharma companies business flow is going to be. Any pharma company may not be, maybe it's a little different situation in India, because we don't need usually we don't need any prescriptions or anything to buy any medicine. But usually in most of the foreign countries, unless or until you have a prescription, you don't get the medicine, right? How the business flow goes on to in pharma industry, and how the software applications are going to be there in the pharma industry. Let's discuss about that before get into velocity. Right? So usually, if any situation, for example, COVID, any disease like this comes up, uh, pharma companies tries to build a compound. I mean, using various compounds, using various compositions of various things, and they'll try to build a vaccine or a medicine, right? And once that is done, once the development stage is done, they're going to do the clinical trials, right? There'll be different stages of clinical trials. Once that is, all the stages are successful, then they'll have, I mean, in case it's in case of COVID, it's a little different because it's a huge pandemic. That's why everything was done, on a priority basis. But usually for any other disease, how it goes is Thus, each pharma company will have sales representatives, and those sales representatives will go to the hospitals and doctors, which are the clients for your pharma companies, and they are going to talk about their new product that is going to be launched into the market. Like, for example, let's take common cold as example, and let's say Pfizer has created a new drug for that, new medicine for that. So the sales representatives from Pfizer are going to go to hospitals and doctors and medical institutions, and they are going to talk more about what exactly this product is and how different it is from the already existing products, and what are the advantages and what are the pros and cons and all of this. If they'll give some samples to the doctors and hospitals, and if they like the product, these doctors are going to start prescribing it, and that's how sales of that particular drug is going to go up, and in turn the sales of the companies, these pharma companies, go up. So this is the entire business process of a pharma company, right? Today you may use Java, tomorrow you may use Salesforce, day after tomorrow you may use some other new application, but ultimately the business flow is not going to change. 50 years back, it was the same business flow. 50 years afterwards, still the business flow is going to be the same. Maybe the software changes, maybe the way application looks and the look and feel of the application may change. Then there could be new additional features, but the backend business flow is not going to change at all. Maybe little tweaks here and there to adjust to the current technology or whatever it is, but the business flow is always going to be the same. So that's where velocity comes into the picture. That's how velocity is trying to capitalize the market. So not just in pharma, in any industry, any domain, the same thing goes. The business flow is not going to change. It's just the applications and features are going to change. So that's why velocity has identified that and identified certain industries which are like pretty much used everywhere, like pretty much common, which has more clients, and velocity is trying to streamline that process. Whatever you have to do for the whole process which I just explained related to pharma, you may to fit in that whole business process, you need to build a huge application which involves a lot of customization. You may have to write a lot of code, you may have to do a lot of configuration, right? So you end up taking a lot of time to build your entire application. But if you use Velocity's industry specific domains, already Velocity has done that for you. You just install it and you just start using it, right? I've been into almost 5 or 6 different telecom projects, and most of the projects the data model is same in case if they are using Velocity, because it already comes as part of the package. All you have to do is just use that, right? Usually any project that starts right from the scratch, it's not just the developers straight away come in and start developing. A lot of time goes in to deciding on how the data model is going to look, how the product model is going to look, how the entire organization structure is going to be, and how the business flow is, and how to have a software that fits into your business flow, right? So all that can be reduced, minimized by a huge margin if you install Velocity's package, right? Velocity has identified such things in few industries: communications, media and entertainment, energy utilities, insurance, health and government. Maybe soon they are trying to bring a few more industries. As of now, these are the common industries that are there in Velocity, out of which telecom, communications, media, entertainment, and insurance are very much stabilized and very much being used by so many clients. So this is what Velocity is going to do. It gives you a lot of features, a lot of advanced, data model, a lot of product model. Everything comes as part of the package. All you have to do is buy the licenses, install the package, and yep, you are good to go, right? The moment you start install the package, like almost 60 to 70% of the work is done. All you have to do is configure whatever is required for this, for that specific project or for that specific client, right? So that's what industry specific data model means. Whenever we speak about Velocity, we keep hearing this term called industry specific domains. So industry specific clouds. This is what it means. So Velocity is going to provide data models for, whatever is necessary to set up the org initially is already provided by Velocity. A lot of features, a lot of coding has been done by them, and all you have to do is just install the package. The package comprises of a lot of things. They'll give you Apex classes, VF pages, Lightning components, a lot of page layouts, record types. Everything, whatever is there in Salesforce, they try to provide so many things that are going to be used for that industry, and it comes as part of the package, right? So that's what is your industry specific domain is. All right. So yep, these are various clients that are already using Velocity. There are more clients. I just highlighted some which we all would have heard, like under telecom and insurance, which are very stabilized environments, very stabilized industries in Velocity, and which are being used extensively by so many clients. For example, in CMT's communications, media, and telecom, you have Verizon, British Telecom, Rogers Communication, Tellers. There is even Vodafone started very recently to, they're hiring as of now because they want to switch to Velocity, and not just in India or all the globe. They are trying to switch to Velocity. And yep, in insurance as well, there are so many. For example, in US, one of the top most insurance companies, your Anthem, and they're already using that. They're one of the first clients to use Velocity. And there is this Prudential, Azure Insurance, Legato Healthcare. There are so many clients that are already using Velocity. Same goes for energy utilities and government and public sector. Right? Even government and public sector is right now being utilized by many clients right now. So yep, that is also one of the booming industry in Velocity right now. All right. Why Velocity? If it is just for the data models, if it is just for these things, do you really have to spend that much to install this package? Definitely not. There should be few more things that has to come along with the package, and that's what Velocity does. First things first, yep, it uses existing standard Salesforce data model, and it extends that existing standard Salesforce data model specific to each industry. For example, in e-commerce platforms, usually even telecom also comes under e-commerce platform. E-commerce platform in the sense Amazon, Flipkart, all these are e-commerce platform. Even telecom also comes under that a little bit, because in India it's again it's different, but usually in foreign countries you'll have to buy online the SIM card or mobiles or mobile plans and everything, and you'll get all of that through delivered via online, right? So that means you create an order and you choose some products and you add all those into your card and you make the payment, and yep, they get delivered to you, right? So to fit in this business process, Velocity has created a data model around the already existing Salesforce objects. Like in case of telecom, they are using order line items, assets, and accounts, contacts, product object, all this. If in case it's insurance, then they are using quote line item, again products, and all these objects, right? So around these objects, they create a data model by creating additional objects and fields and relationships, right? Around these five or I don't say 5 or 6. There are quite a few standard Salesforce objects that are being used in each of these industries, and around these they'll create hundreds of other objects and relationships which can be utilized extensively. Right? And the next thing is it gives you a way to develop your pages or business flows which has complex functionalities in a quite faster way. Right? To be honest, there are projects which went live within no time. Like, for example, I can give you one such example, which is M1 Telecom, right? So these guys are like they started around in 2018 to implement this velocity, and most of this has been achieved through configuration. I won't say 100%, at least 70% has been achieved through configuration using velocity, and this is their org. And I think they went live within 6 or 7 months with a lot of functionality in the backend, right? So yep, your complex business flows, development of complex business flows becomes quite easier, right? And for example, there is another example which I can give for your third point, like developing complex logics and functionalities and velocity is easier and faster, right? For example, Visible, this is Verizon's subsidiary. Verizon is one of the US topmost telecom companies, and these guys are using, even Verizon is using Velocity, and Visible is also using Velocity. It's a subsidiary. These guys are using a third-party UI system, but all the backend is Velocity. Any button you click is a API call that is being made to Velocity. So usually to expose your APIs or to invoke any APIs from Salesforce, you'll have to write a lot of code. You don't have to do that. You can achieve all of that using configuration. If you achieve a lot of things using configuration, there is less scope for bugs or less scope for any system kind of errors, any technical errors, and automatically the development becomes quite faster, right? And yep, as I said, integration with other systems is going to be very easy. I can say it takes hardly 5 to 10 minutes to invoke an API of some other third-party system. Once you understand the entire how to configure and everything, you don't even need 5 or 10 minutes. It's just you drag and drop some components, you give the endpoint, and you define what is what. That's all. And the next thing is in Velocity, although they support XML as well, but predominantly Velocity recommends you to use JSON format. JSON is a very lightweight, easy to understand, and faster processing language. It is actually very lightweight. If you use JSON for all the data processing, like transfer of data between each and every system, it becomes much faster because everything is straightforward and everything is easy to process, right? So in turn reduces the load time of the pages and everything. All right, and if you go ahead, what exactly, those are some advantages of using Velocity, but what are the changes that Velocity brings into your org? Let's look into that. So yeah, in any e-commerce platform, not specific to Salesforce or not specific to Velocity or not specific to telecom or anything, any e-commerce platform, you will go through 2 different processes. For example, if I go to Amazon and try to buy a product, or if I go to Flipkart and buy a product, right? From the time I enter Flipkart's website or Amazon's website till the time I make payment, that whole process is called order capture. Right? And from the time I make the payment till the time it gets delivered to the end customer, that whole process is called as order management. Right? So order capture, to build an order capture journey, which is more like this, like you go and you create some products. You have your product catalog, Like for example, here I can go, I can shop smartphones, or I can shop wearables, or there are Apple watches, iPhones, or whatever it is. So you have your product catalog built. You buy a specific product, you choose a specific product, and you choose your configuration which is required for you, and just create an order and do the payment and all of that. This whole order capture journey, to process this whole order capture journey, usually it is going to take a lot of development time. You are going to have a developers who have extensive knowledge in both UI part and also the backend part, because it involves a lot of coding usually. But most of that can be achieved through configuration in case of Velocity. Velocity provides a lot of features in this order capture as part of this order capture journey. Most of the things either you can drag and drop, or you can configure, or you can just use the existing functionality which is already provided by Velocity, right? So one thing which I can say is, for example, this M1 website is, except for this highlighting, except this coloring, all these things, everything else, like for example, this is a text field which is of read-only type, and this is a another text field of read-only type. So everything is most of the thing that is done, except for these UI additional UI styling. Everything else is achieved through configuration, including the backend logics. For example, I click on continue. Here you could see mobile numbers are coming up. This is an API call that is being made. Even that is a configuration, right? If I click on this button, it makes another API call and fetches few more numbers. Even that is a configuration. If I go here, I do something. So here it says invalid number. So everything here is achieved through configuration, right? So your order capture journey, you will be able to achieve that through configuration. You can build complex logics using Velocity's out-of-the-box features. Right? We'll see a little more about those components in a bit. Yep. Right now, let's try to understand that you can build order capture journey using Velocity's components by by reducing a lot of coding effort. Right? Yeah. And most of the things, at least, earlier Salesforce used to say that in Salesforce 60% is configuration and only 40% you'll have to do the customization. But that never really happens, right? If you go to any Salesforce orgs, they are so code heavy. I mean, you'll end up doing a lot of customization. Eventually, every page that loads is going to take a lot of time in Salesforce, because over a period of time, you end up creating a lot of customization. To load a single page, there'll be a lot of Apex classes, a lot of code will be running in the backend, right? So the problem of this is basically to build more and more, to add additional complex logics, you will have to optimize your existing application first, which again takes a lot of efforts, right? So to avoid that, what Velocity has done is it provides certain components using which you can just achieve more. Velocity really sticks to what it says. You can build any kind of application using 80% of the configuration at least. Only here and there, little tweaks you'll have to do. For that, you may have to go and do the custom code. Otherwise, most of it can be achieved through configuration. Right? And next thing is order management. Order management, as I just said, in Velocity, not just in Velocity, sorry, in case of any e-commerce platform, be it Flipkart, Amazon, or any, you go to Geo site and buy a mobile plan, or you go to some other site, and basically anything you're buying online, once you do the payment till the product gets delivered to the end customer, that whole process that needs to be taken care in the backend is called as order management. That is one of the most complex part in any e-commerce platform, because each product that you buy may have to go through a different process. For example, you're buying a SIM card. these guys in the backend have to first verify your documents if you're buying it online, and then reserve that mobile number for you so that it will not be available for other customers. And they'll have to do some backend stuff like tagging some IDs and everything in the backend, and finally get it delivered to you and then activate. If I'm buying a mobile phone, then it's an entirely different process. If I'm buying a mobile plan, again a different process. So each product that you buy online will have a different process that has to be done in the backend to get it delivered to the customer successfully, to fulfill that order to the customer successfully. So that part is called order management, and Velocity has one of the most dynamic and robust order management process. It involves two processes called orchestration and decomposition. We'll get into those details when we start the training classes. So together, these two things bring in a most dynamic and robust order management process in Velocity, right? Literally, you can configure any kind of order management process without using much of the code. It ensures that at least 70 to 80% of the thing is done through configuration. I mean, you don't even have to say 70 to 80%, you can say 100%, but yep, definitely some or the other way around, other way you'll end up using code. So that's why we'll bring it down to 70 to 80% for sure. Not like how it is in Salesforce, but if you are using Velocity in Salesforce, then it sticks to that point for sure, right? And next out of the box feature that comes as part of Velocity is EPC. So EPC is basically enterprise product catalog. So if you go to a restaurant, let's take an example. If you go to a restaurant, you'll get a menu where you will be able to see the items available categorized in a proper way, like starters, main course, veg and non-veg, all these things. And for each item, you'll see the respective price. So this is called your menu card or a product catalog. So any business requires a product catalog, be it online or offline. So you can build a most dynamic product catalog using Velocity's enterprise product catalog or EPC, right? So whatever you are, for example, I go to Amazon. Let me just open the website. You can see here a shop by department, and if I go into the mobiles, again there are multiple categories, and if I go into that specific category, again there are subcategories. Again, if I go into one of the subcategories, that again is divided into another subcategory. And once you click that, it filters out the exact products which you are looking for. So you need this kind of this level of customization when you design a product catalog for your client. So that can be achieved by, in EPC, there is absolutely zero code. You don't have to use any code at all. Everything is achieved through configuration. Like not even a single line of code is required in case of EPC. I mean, that may not be the case for order capture or order management. There may be a little customization over there, but in case of EPC, definitely you don't need any code. Velocity gives you a powerful tool called Velocity's product console, and you can just use it and configure everything that you need, right? From designing the categories till creating the products and defining the attributes in the sense when you buy a mobile, it asks for the color, it asks for the RAM, storage, all these things. So all these things can be done using Velocity's enterprise product catalog through configuration. All right. So if you're having this kind of robust dynamic product catalog, right? For example, using this EPC, not just creating products and categories, you can also do something like this. For example, I'm buying a mobile here and I'm being offered a mobile case and along with a screen guard, right? If I buy all of them together, I'll have to reduce the price. If I'm buying the products individually, then it'll be a little more price like that. So when you have such kind of dynamic product catalog, you also need a dynamic pricing. For that, Velocity has customized the CPQ and they named it as Velocity CPQ. And Velocity CPQ helps in making sure that you create a dynamic pricing for your product catalog. You create any kind of complexities in your product catalog, your CPQ, velocity CPQ. There is a difference between actual CPQ and velocity CPQ. CPQ has a lot of components which may not be necessary in case of telecom domain. So that's why they have reduced it. They have customized it in such a way that only whatever is required by your telecom domain, only those are added, and we call it as velocity CPQ. Right? And yep, it really helps you in designing a kind of most dynamic pricing for your dynamic product catalog, right? And next thing is it provides digital commerce and cart-based APIs. So cart, in the sense, a shopping cart is nothing but your order record, all right? So your digital commerce and cart-based APIs are basically nothing but there will be a lot of functionalities that you may come across which are very common. For example, I go ahead and buy this product and let's say, let me add it to the cart. And, yeah, once I log in, I'll have a place where I'll have to apply the promo code. I'll show it in another website. Yep. Here I can apply a promo code. Applying a promo code is always going to be the same in any e-commerce platform, right? If I do that in telecom, or if I do it in Amazon, or if I do it in Flipkart, it's always the same. Applying promo code is basically whatever discount you're offering through that promo code, you'll have to reduce that price in your cart, right? So why again and again you have to write a code in each and every different project? So that's what Velocity does. It gives you a API. All you have to do is just call that API from Velocity by passing the respective inputs, and it takes care of doing that job, right? And also, for example, excuse me, yeah, I just added a product into my cart, and now I go on continue. So in the backend, in my Salesforce, it has to create an order record, account record, and all of that in the backend. You don't have to worry about that, because just call API provided by Velocity. It creates an order record in the backend. So a lot of functionalities which are common across these e-commerce platforms, especially in telecom domain, or the common functionalities are already built by Velocity. You can just use them as an API. Wherever you require it, just call that API and pass the inputs. And it takes care of doing that job for you. It runs the Velocity code, which comes as part of the managed package, and that does the job for you, right? And finally, it provides you the industry-specific data models, right? So each, as I said, for example, in case of telecom domain, everything revolves around your order line item, assets, product, account, contact, and user objects. So Velocity provides them and creates additional objects and ensures that it provides you a data model which is already there for you, and you don't have to worry about adding additional components or anything. You can just straight away and go use that, start using that. Just comes along with the package, and you can just use it. All right, these are certain out-of-the-box features that are provided by Velocity, and as part of our training, we are going to cover all of these things in detail, right? How to use them, how to build the components, how to work with them, what are the you can say best practices, what are the ways to optimize the performance, because people tend to use these configurable components in just like that in any way they want, because everything is configurable. So just people tend to create without any performance related things. So as part of training, we'll ensure that we also, along with learning how to build a specific component, we'll also try to learn how to use them effectively, how to ensure that we follow all the best practices and make sure that the performance is always good. All right, moving on. Yep. Anyone has any questions until now, any doubts up till now, you can just let me know. All right, I'll take it as a no. Don't worry, we'll have a 10 or 15 minutes at the end. You can ask me the questions there. All right. Finally, as part of order capture journey, you may have to, you may have to create, you can see these first 2 points here, order capture and declarative approach to build business flows and complex logics. You may have to create a lot of components. You may have to create a lot of VF pages, or you may have to create a lot of Lightning components or LWC components or uh, ethics controllers usually, right? You can, Velocity, what it does is not just these out of the box features like order management, EPC, CPQ, this data models, APIs and all of this. Velocity also gives certain components using which you can build complex business flows, both front end and back end logics, right? So let's take a look at those components. So Velocity has categorized them into two different tools, two different set of components: interaction tools and data tools. Interaction tools are the ones which are related to UI, and data tools are the ones which execute in the backend. Right? Let's just quickly cover what are these things in, how they are going to work, just on a rough basis. Right? First, let's look at OmniScripts. So OmniScript, the name itself says that Omni in the sense guided flow, right? So you are creating a guided flow script. So as I just showed this particular website, right? This website is entirely built on OmniScript, M1 Telecom. They are using OmniScripts to do this part, right? And OmniScripts are just drag and drop components. If you remember it, in Salesforce, we have page layouts, right? Just like that, OmniScripts are also drag and drop components, but you can place them in communities, and this is how they are going to be, right? You can build UI screens using OmniScripts. An OmniScript is basically a replacement or a replacement of your Lightning, LWC, and VF page components. Whatever you do in these three things, you can achieve the same thing using OmniScripts just by drag and drop, except for the CSS part, except for the styling part, styling and UI customization part. Right? So this is just, whatever has been shown in this particular UI, I tried to replicate the similar kind of thing. Here you could see using OmniScript. And yep, this is all configuration. This is basically here on the right side, you could see choose your number. That is a text field, which is of read only. Again, and after that, you can see pick new number and keep my existing number. This is a radio button, but we made it look a little different like this, right? And again, here, here you see, this is how do you want to receive a SIM card. That is a text field in read only. Again, delivery, I am at M1 store. These both are basically, again, radio button, right? So, yep, all of these things you can achieve. Even this part, like where you're seeing images, the product name and pricing, this also is drag and drop component, right? Yep, obviously to add this additional, you can see this number is highlighted in orange color here. There is a orange line coming at the bottom. This continue button is highlighted in orange with the white letters. Again, here also this button. So this kind of UI styling, you'll have to go for code that there is absolutely no other way around. But everything else, remaining whole part, adding these components, making sure that they appear, they get the values dynamically, everything, all of that can be achieved OmniScripts. You can build the basic structure of any website using OmniScripts without using a single line of code. If you want to add the UI customization, then you'll have to use the code. Otherwise, there's absolutely no need. Right? You can build an entire website. The structure of entire website. Structure means I'm not saying just just building the web pages. Everything, every little detail can be built using OmniScripts, except for this coloring and styling and all of this part. All right. Next thing is cards. Cards predominantly is used for your customer care parts. Like all the telecom companies will have a customer care, and like imagine the customer care job. Like when a when a customer calls to that customer care agent and says that he wants to update his alternate contact number or update some account details or buy a new plan or download the bill and send it to his email. This customer care agent should not be going here and there in your entire Salesforce org, which confuses him a lot. Although Salesforce provided you app, tabs and everything, but still it is going to be confusing for a new guy, right? So that's when cards come into the picture. Cards or flexi cards. They provide 360-degree view of a entire customer account, right? This is an example of a card for a telecom operator. You could see in one single card, you can almost see the entire accounts overview, right? You can see the account details, you can see the previous order details, and on click of that, you'll be navigated to the respective order. Again, you can see what are all the mobiles handsets that have been customer has from this telecom operator, what are the plans and everything. You have buttons on the same page itself for each and every mobile handset. And yep, you have all these things over here. So you can build this entire thing in a single screen using cards, which mostly is again configuration, except for the UI part, UI styling part. Okay? This is another example of an insurance domain, insurance client. All right, so these are your interaction tools, and there is one more thing called templates. So I keep repeating that except for UI part, except for UI part. So templates is the place where you will you will add the customization of UI, adding the colors and styling. So that is the only place where you are going to use code, UI related code. So in templates, you can use Angular JavaScript or HTML or CSS based on your requirement. All right. So the next set of components is your data tools. Data tools are basically the ones which execute in the backend. So what we have seen until now is front end part. Now, how am I getting these data, 5 GB, 12 GB, or 100, 300 infinite, or every time I change something, the price is getting changed here. From where am I getting all these, right? I mean, maybe this can be a static one, this data and talk time, but the price cannot be a static one. That may change. So from where are you getting these? So to fetch this kind of data, or for example, for that matter, this visible. On click of this shop all phones button, it is extracting all the mobiles of smartphone type, right? So that means there is a query running in the backend, which is extracting all the products of type smartphone. Right? Usually you'll have to write an Apex code. In the Apex code, you'll have to create a list and then write a query and fetch all those products. And yep, you'll have to convert everything into JSON and then pass it to the UI system, which in turn is going to use that data and display it in the UI. Instead of that, just use a data wrapper extract, which is a configurable component. Define the object, define your filters, define the fields from which you need a data. It takes care of extracting it, converting it into JSON of any format. You want to make it into a list, you want to make it into an object, you want to make it a map, or you want to make it a string, Boolean, whatever it is, it does the job for you. It extracts the data and it converts it into JSON. So that can be done using a data wrapper extract. You don't have to go for an Apex class. So anywhere you want to write a query and convert the data into, convert the extracted information into JSON, then you can use data wrapper extract. Right? And now I chose this product. Now I want to click on add to your bag, and once I proceed, just a second. Yeah. Once I click on continue here, it is going to create an order record in the backend. So again, you'll have to pass all the information from the UI in JSON format to your Apex class, and there you'll have to declare variables, get the data, and add all of that into respective fields of your object and create an order record. But no need to go for a code. You can just use a data wrapper load for all your DML operations except for a delete. For delete, there is a separate thing, so that's why except for delete. Insert, update, or upsert, for all these DML operations, you can use a data wrapper load, which again is a configurable component. You can just define the object and define from which path of the JSON to which field of the object. That's it. It is going to take care of updating the database or inserting or upserting, whatever it is. Right? And your data wrapper transform. You may come across complex situations like you may have to convert JSON into multiple ways, like convert a list into a map into a list, or list of string into a list of object, whatever it is. Any kind of data transformation can be taken care by data wrapper transform. You don't have to go for the code again. So these components, whatever these data tools or interaction tools, for us, they're all configurable components, but in the backend, Velocity uses all the properties that you have defined. Like in case of data wrapper extract, you're going to define like which object and which fields. So in the backend, Velocity takes care of running that code for you. So for you, it is all properties, like what is the object name, what are the fields. But in the backend, Velocity takes care of running the code for you using these information or properties that you have defined. All right. So yeah, the next thing is integration procedures. This is personally, I feel that this is one of the best tool provided by Velocity. Almost 90% of the things that you achieve through a Apex class can be achieved through integration procedure. Be it invoking a third-party API or exposing Salesforce data as an API to third-party system, or making it as an Apex controller, whatever it is, you can use an integration procedure. Not just these things, it does a lot of other jobs like reducing the load time. Like every time you click on a button, usually in the UI, it takes a little bit of time to load the next page. So you can reduce, there are a lot of ways to reduce the load time to increase the performance and everything. So what your Apex class can do, your integration procedure can do the same thing through configuration. All you have to do is drag and drop. One simple example, or one quick example, I'll just show you. I want to let's say, invoke an API. Just a second. I just created one example to invoke common this weather API. So you don't have to write an Apex class, design it, and all of that. So all I need is some drag and drop. I mean, this is how an integration procedure looks. We'll get into more details when we start the training classes. But you can see how simple it is. From the left-hand side, I'll drag and drop the required components into the center part, and I'll define the properties of each of those on the right-hand side. And yep, that's it. I don't have to write any code here. And I just do the preview. and I'll pass some data like city name. Let me say it as London. It calls that API and it extracts all the details. So similarly, if you want to expose expose Salesforce data as an API, for example, this is one such example where we are exposing Salesforce data through an API. Whenever I click on this shop all phones, you are retrieving the data from Salesforce from product to object and providing it to the third-party UI system. So if you want to do that, okay, maybe it's not there in this org. When we start the trainings, I'll show you how to do it. So you can do all of that using your integration procedure. Again, you don't have to write a single line of code. All of that can be achieved through configuration. So that's what your integration procedure is. So as I said, personally, I like this particular tool very much because you can do, I mean, as you work on these integration procedures, you can explore it as much as possible. It has a lot of possibilities. Right? Next thing is calculation procedure. It's just to perform some kind of complex mathematical calculations. For example, as I've shown here, whenever I choose different value here, the price is automatically changing. How do you do that? Is using the calculation procedure. Or again, I buy a mobile phone and based on the size I choose, automatically you could see the price is changing here. You can do all of that, that level of configuration using calculation procedures. All right. So these are all certain components that are provided by Velocity. You can you can perform complex, you can build complex logics and you can build complex applications using Velocity's components. All right. So as part of our training, we are going to discuss all these Velocity components as well as these out-of-the-box features. These out-of-the-box features. We'll try to build certain things and everything, and we'll see. Right. Also, I have some documentation which, out of my own interest, I have created. So, yep. For example, EPC Enterprise Product Catalog. Maybe after the training, if you want it for some reference, you can use these documents, which has all the details. You can just look how to create these, individual components and everything by referring these documents. This is something which I have created. So you can, once you enroll as part of the training, we'll provide all these documentation. Along with, there are some exercise guides which are provided by Velocity themselves for practice purposes, like for each and every topic. Once we discuss in the class, training class, you can use those exercise guides to get started with. I mean, you can use those exercise guides, which will have a problem, also a solution. You can use that and you can definitely refer it. All right. So, yep. That's pretty much from my side. If you have any questions or anything, do let me know.
Nothing from my side. Maybe we'll start getting questions once we start off.
Sure, then. If you don't have any questions, yep, we'll start from Monday. A new batch will be started from Monday. So we'll discuss about, we'll go slowly at the start, then we'll pick up the pace, and eventually we'll try to cover all those topics which I just mentioned. And yep, you can.
Okay, so while covering all the topics during the class, we'll have a pretty good hands-on experience also on it, right?
Yes, usually, yeah, we'll have a 1 hour session. So I'll be explaining about each and every topic in that class, and I'll provide you the exercise guide as well. So you can try it out and come back in the next class and ask me the questions if you have.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Dilip, I have a question. So So now after the Velocity has been acquired by Salesforce. Now they have renamed it to Omni Studio, right? So what I saw, there are different certifications available. Once we are done with this training, what do you think should be the best certification to take up?
Yeah. So this velocity components is there, right? Which you see on the screen. That is basically your Omni Studio development part. Both these interaction tools and data tools. So you can. This is the first step. So if you want to, get some calls or something, first thing is you try to understand velocity and then take this Omni Studio development training, which will most probably be covering in the first 15 days of the training. And yep, you don't even trust me, you don't even need any dumps or anything, because we'll be covering all these tools along with Jason as well. So you'll get questions only around these topics. If you want to go advanced, then you can take separate certifications on these things. Like you have order management certification separately, EPC and CPQ certification separately, all of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Right. Any other questions, clarifications?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Fine. You can contact this particular number you're seeing on the screen, or email, or from Facebook, or whatever it is. Or you can, if you're fine, you can ping your number. Don't worry, we are not going to definitely bug you or anything. You can just ping your
Yeah,
contact.
sure. We have the number I had actually contacted.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.